Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is Kawhi Leonard finally back to being dominant? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro Premium community that's launching very soon, and also be on the lookout for Dreamerspro.com. So anyway, let me get into this topic here. So all of y'all know that's been on the channel that Kawhi Leonard is my guy, right? He's my favorite player currently playing in the NBA. Right now, Kawhi Leonard is having a great season, man. If we go over his stats, he's just been sensational. He's averaging 26.5 points per game, so just a shade under what he was averaging last season at 27 points per game. The guy is shooting 50% from the field this year, which is 3 percentage points higher. He's actually shooting better this year than he did last year. Last year he shot 47% from the field, which is elite. But now he's shooting 50%. He's shooting 40% from the three, which is 2 percentage points higher than he did last season. He's shooting pretty much the same from the free throw line at 88%. But he's getting you 5.9 rebounds, but the most important thing is getting you 5.1 assists. That's a career high for him. So he's averaging a career high in assists this season, and I expect that number to go up once he gets Paul George back and he gets more opportunities to make more plays and hit open shooters because of the more spacing on the floor and the way Paul George allows the Clippers to collapse the defense on either side of the court, especially when they post. And he's getting you 1.8 steals a game. So Kawhi Leonard is having a good season this year. Now, here's some things that I've noticed that he's improved on. Number one, he's improved his leadership. Leadership was an issue that Kawhi Leonard had last season, and by leadership, I mean just being indifferent last year. He seemed like he was one of these guys, the lead by example. I do my job and then that's enough. But when you're in a leadership role, management or whatever it is, in this case, you're one of the top players or the top player on the team, you have to go beyond just leading by example. You need to bring guys along, hold guys accountable, make sure that the team does things together. This is what a leader does, right? A great player is you almost seem like a mercenary. You're great, but just on your own. But in this case, in the team context, you can't just be looking at, what I'm doing good is that's all. You need to step outside your personality and galvanize guys. You're not being paid $30 million a year just to do your own thing and that's it. No, he's improved his leadership, which I've liked. A second thing I've noticed from the guy is that he's becoming more vocal on the court. That's something that I needed to see. You need to see more emotion. Talk, open your mouth, speak. Get on guys, get on referees, be more animated, right? Let people know you're there. Don't just be there on the court and no one knows that you're on the floor. Be more vocal. And that's something that I'm starting to see with Kawhi Leonard this year. Now, his team got off to a good start. They got some important wins at the beginning of the season. They had a very tough schedule, one of the toughest schedules to start the season. And recently, they just came off a very tough stretch of basketball. And they had lost 3 of their last 4 games. They had lost to the Nets, which was a very close game. It was a nationally televised game. Then they lost to the Kings, which was the most recent loss that they had. Very disappointing loss. And they also lost to the Celtics, which was also another disappointing loss. Now, I have been saying as of recent that Kawhi Leonard has not been aggressive enough, or he hasn't seemed aggressive enough in my opinion, right? And it pained me to say it, but sometimes you got to get on your best player. I mean, your favorite player, right? You got to be balanced. He was not aggressive enough, okay? In the Kings game in that loss, he scored 20 points. That's not enough, right? That's just not enough. In the Celtics loss, Paul George is out, 28 points. From one of the best players in the world, it's not enough. We need more from you. We need more from you. And in the Nets game, although he scored 33, listen, he needed to score 40. I said it then after that loss. He needed to score at least 40 points. The Nets' big three generated 90 points. Kawhi and Paul George generated 59. They needed more from him. MPG, but in this case, we're talking about Kawhi Leonard as the best player on that team. They needed more offense. They needed more of an offensive punch from him. Now, last night, against the Timberwolves, who are a very talented team, believe it or not. They're just young and they don't know how to close out games yet. As you saw in that fourth quarter, they just kind of capitulated and everything just came apart. But for the most of the game, they were playing the Clippers very tough, and they actually had a 6-point lead going into halftime against the Clippers. But what I saw from Kawhi Leonard, apart from his 36 points, was that he was aggressive. He was aggressive. Now, last night, Kawhi Leonard attempted 25 shots. 25 shots. And I expect at least 25 shots per game from the guy while Paul George is out. Right now for the season, if I look at his season average, how many attempts is he getting? He's attempting 19 shots a game. Last season, he attempted 19.9, almost 20. His attempts need to go up now because he's averaging virtually the same amount of points because his efficiency has gone up. So he's becoming more efficient. He's making the most of his shot attempts, and that comes from the fact that he's hitting more shots, but also he's hitting a higher percentage of his threes. Although last season he was attempting. Last season was attempting 5.7. This year he's attempting 4.9, but he's making 2. So for some reason he's making more. He's making 2 3-pointers a game. So he's been more efficient, but he hasn't been as aggressive as he needs to be, especially with Paul George out. Last night he attempted 25 shots from the floor. That's what I like to see. He hit 5 out of 6 3-pointers. He shot over 80% from the 3. That's what I need to see, right? When he plays like this, he becomes more dangerous, and a result of his aggressiveness, it makes his team more difficult to stop. If you saw Kawhi Leonard, what I liked about how Tyronn Lue used him last night was the fact that they kept on posting him. Whenever they post Kawhi Leonard, number one, it slows down the tempo, the speed of the game. Number two, it forces a double team. There's no one that they can send on him on single coverage that can deal with him. So they always had to send another guy. You saw one game that he was able to post and get so deep into the paint that he was able to hit Nicholas Batum for the open 3. That's what happens when Kawhi Leonard is aggressive, and he needs to be aggressive because they're not getting the same floor spacing that they normally would when Paul George is on the floor. When Paul George is on the floor, you can post either of these guys on either side on the court. If you want to post them on the strong side, swing the ball, post them and it causes the defense to constantly rotate, which gets for open shots. If guys are moving their bodies and also cut into the basket, you can get a lot of clean looks, and it's one of the reasons why the Clippers are shooting 41% from the three-point line as a team, because these guys are mostly getting wide open looks. If you look at their corner threes, a lot of them are shooting above 50% from the corners. So the Clippers are a different team when he's aggressive. Number two, when he's attacking the basket and putting the defense in foul trouble. You saw that last night. He was just determined to go to the basket. When his shot wasn't falling at certain points in the game, he kept on attacking the basket. And for me, I didn't care what his shooting percentage was going to be from the. I don't care about that. What I care about is your aggressiveness. If you need to shoot 35 times in a game, who bloody cares? You're the best player on the court. You're the best. You're the number one option to shoot. And last night you could see he was trying to go for 40, but they didn't want to pass him the ball to get the foul. Some of these other guys like Lou Williams, Marcus Morris, and Reggie Jackson, like, yo, bro, you got 36, man. We need to get our points up too, huh? You could see he wanted 40. But what I liked from him was that he was aggressive. And this is the Kawhi Leonard I expect to see going forward. Paul George is going to be out for at least the next game, because he didn't travel with the team. So he's not going to be with them when they play against Chicago on Friday. And Chicago is a good team, as far as they compete. They have some studs. Like last time they played, Zach LaVine had 42 points against the Clippers. So listen, Kawhi Leonard, if he continues to be this aggressive, I think he'll be back to being very, very dominant. Before he was good, but he wasn't great. And now we need him to be great, and I need him to be just as aggressive. And you can see it. I think Kawhi understands that there's no way that Kawhi Leonard would have trained with Kobe Bryant and that aggressiveness would not have rubbed. There's no way Kobe would not have told him, you need to be more aggressive. There's just no way. I don't believe it. Kobe was just too aggressive. There's no way that could not rub off on Kawhi. And I could see that Kawhi Leonard took the next step in his career as an offensive player when he became more aggressive on the offensive side of the floor. Defense, he was already there, but I like the fact that he's taking things personal, wanting to go at guys, taking as many shots as he possibly can, because he's the number one option on the team, and he makes them very dangerous when he's scoring. And he opens up a lot of scoring opportunities for his teammates. So for me, I think Kawhi Leonard is back to being dominant, given the fact that he finally got some rest, and I'm finally seeing him attempting more shots from the field. That's a good barometer for me to understand that this guy is being more aggressive, not just a pedestrian 25. Come on, he's too good for just 25 points a game. When Paul George is out, I expect to see at least 30 plus points from him every single night until the guy gets back. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think that Kawhi Leonard is back to being dominant, or do you just think it's a flash in the pan? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoy the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.